So
you learned about masturbation from a cis hetero male.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, that's not true. You can masturbate. And I was like, well, then what the fuck do we need boys for? What?
Stevie Boebi!
What's up?
This is like such a long-awaited collab on my channel. I've been asked about you constantly, and you're such an inspiration and a force in this field. So I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful for the work that you do, and I'm grateful for saying yes to collabing with me in this way.
Oh my God, how am I supposed to follow that
Let's
up?
just touch skin for a second. So today I want to do a nosy expose into your sex life, which
Cool.
I'm sure everybody who knows you probably already knows. But I just kind of want to go into the inner workings of what made you the powerhouse, sexual vixen, just free spirit that you are today. So if you thought back over your span of seeing yourself as a sexual person, do you have a first memory that comes to mind?
Oh God. Well, for me, it was way late. So I grew up in the fucking South in a town of 13,000 people, and they had abstinence only education. So yeah, like my health teacher told me if you wore a bikini, swam with boys in a bikini, you could get pregnant. Just like so much misinformation, just absolute bullshit. And so I never experimented with masturbation as a kid at all. Like I started having sex before I'd ever touched myself.
Really?
Yeah.
So you never had a period of time, like when you were 8 or when you were young, where you were just curious about your body or saw yourself as sexual in any way?
No. The first time I masturbated and then realizing I was a lesbian was like, so the time between those two events was like 6 months.
Oh, wow. You just got to pop in.
Yeah. Because like self-exploration helps you learn so much about yourself. And before that, I literally thought I was like, I'm not like other people. Like I don't have feelings for people. Like, or like, I don't know.
So you saw yourself as almost like asexual for a while, where it just never...
No, I didn't know that sex was supposed to feel good. I thought that it was just supposed to feel like a chore. So I always compare like sex with men for me is like washing the dishes or doing the laundry. It's not repulsive, but it's like not fireworks and not exciting. Mm-hmm. And so...
Dishes are repulsive, first of all. It's so gross. So you were sexually active before you considered yourself sexual?
Oh yeah.
So how did that happen?
I was sick of being a virgin. I remember, I think I lost my virginity. Like I got my first kiss and lost my virginity in the same week because I was just like sick of having it. And I just like chose a dude to lose my virginity to and just did it. And I was like, well, thank God that's over. Mm-hmm. So now I don't have to keep saying I'm a virgin.
Were you sick of it for like feeling teased or just like not feeling like you could relate to people? Like what about it made you feel like I'm done with this?
I think it was that I felt more like the older I got, the more ostracized I felt. And because I grew up in a place that's abstinence only education, girls lose their virginity much younger. And so like, you know, most of my friends and girls I went to school with were having sex at like 12, 13, 14. So yeah, by the time I was 17, I was like, I'm the only one left. I remember the first time I like got a crush on a girl that I was worried could be a crush because, you know, of course you look back and you're like, maybe that was a crush, but was on my senior English teacher. But I had already like been living on my own and I was already 18 and I was like in Ohio, like I moved away to a different state. And then my best friend kept catching me staring at her and was like, are you a lesbian? And
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, no. And then I was like, do I have a crush on her? This is just a one-time thing, right? And then the second thing was happening. I got my first pap smear, and she like put her fingers inside of me to like feel my ovaries on both sides. Obviously, it wasn't sexually arousing to me, although maybe it is to some people. But I just couldn't stop thinking about the fact that a woman's fingers were inside of me, and I kept like I was like telling my boyfriend about it. Like, why can't I stop thinking about her? Mm-hmm. He told me, that was the boyfriend that told me that girls can masturbate. Because I was told that girls can't, only boys can. So...
You learned about masturbation from a cis hetero male.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, that's not true. You can masturbate. And I was like, well, then what the fuck do we need boys for? What?
Was he a good boyfriend?
Yeah, he was very sweet.
Do you look at that and say that was a positive time for my sexual self?
I mean, yeah, I think sexually, absolutely. Romantically, absolutely fucking not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was still figuring it all out. I was still on and off homeless too. So I was like trying to get it together and like figure out what my career was going to be, trying to like be able to afford food and housing and shit. So Yeah, it was rough in every area except for sexually. I feel like that was when I was masturbating the most, getting to know what I liked.
And you started your channel in your 20s too.
Yes. Well, I actually made my first video in 2006, and like I had a different channel. So like I made some comedy vlog. My first video was about how women should masturbate more.
Oh, nice. So you already knew what you wanted to do.
Which is so funny.
So do you feel like, when did you start to feel, because you're a sexual educator now, at what point were you like, oh, now I'm an expert in this area?
Oh, I still don't feel that way. I really feel like I'm just like a peer educator, and because I'm like, I don't go and try to teach myself at like an actual institution to like.
But why does that matter though? What's the difference?
Do
you feel like you know more than the average person? That you've got, even the fact that you were 19 years old and you had a positive sex life where you felt like you knew how to get yourself off, you were comfortable with your body, and you identified yourself accurately sexually, that's amazing. Like that takes a lot of people 30 more years on top of that. Like those are all really big accomplishments.
But yeah, I don't think that you have to have a degree to like be an educator, but I don't think that I have made choices to make this like a lifelong career for me. So I think that like peer education and like sex entertainment has kind of like, that's what I would really call my web series. But yeah, I don't know. I did it because I didn't have it.
If you were to teach a class of like Stevie's top 5 things to know about sex to have a great sex life, what would you put in that class?
Oh my God. The first thing that I think surprises, like I'd say more than half of the people, adults that are my age that I talk to, is what a fluid exchange is. Because I don't think people really talk about fluid exchange, and like that is what increases your chances of spreading. Do you say spreading? I forget what you're supposed to say now.
I'm like distributing.
Yeah, something else.
It's sharing now.
I think attachment theory is really cool and like a really easy way to talk to people about different types of responses to trauma and upbringing and stuff.
What's your attachment style?
Secure. Fucking how.
Congratulations.
Some fucking how. I always say that like I'm happy that my mom wasn't abusive until I was 5.
Well, you may have, even like your fuckboy stage may have been semblance of avoidance.
Oh yeah. So I have right now, I wish I would have taken it back in the day because it was probably worse. But right now I have like 3 avoidant points and 1 anxious point. Like, I think it's like 80 points or something. So yeah, I definitely lean towards avoidant.
Okay, so we got in 2. So fluid exchange. By fluid exchange, you just mean
what a fluid exchange is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Break that down for me because I don't even know if I fully know what you're saying.
Okay. So any mucous membrane, any place on your body that secretes fluid, and that touching someone else's fluid is how you can contract STDs, STIs. So like literally if you put your pussy on my eyeball, that is a fluid exchange.
Yes.
Snot, mouth, genitals, obviously anus, all of that. So many people think that like oral sex is a safer way to have sex when it's not.
Well, I had somebody else in this channel who was lesbian and said that the lesbian community and sexual health just don't necessarily line up all the time. Like there's this notion that there is no sexually transmitted infections in that community.
Yeah, which is not true. Lesbians are 5 times more likely to have chlamydia than a straight person. And it's because you get it from eating pussy, and we eat a lot of pussy.
Yeah.
Statistically.
All right, so we're doing 5 lessons. We only got to 2. So we got to fluid exchange, and then we did attachment theory,
creating your own safe sex circle, especially if you aren't in a monogamous long-term relationship. Figuring out what your rules are and figuring out how to advocate for yourself. I wish I would have learned that dungeons are actually safer places consent-wise than most fucking bars and clubs. Because in the BDSM world, consent is so focused on, and like safety and being risk aware is so focused on.
So how do you incorporate sexual health into your sexual routine in a sexy way?
Well, I'm like kind of dommy, so like I get off on being withholding, so I like do it in a sexy way. Like you're not allowed to eat my pussy. You have to wait 3 months where you don't eat anybody else's pussy before or whatever. So I guess it's kind of, I don't know. I never...
Like, do you use dental dams? Do people use dental dams?
God, I hate this. I hate saying no, but no.
Right, I know.
Like, if people use them, then you'd be able to find them at stores easier.
Yes.
But like, people stock them and then they expire, you know, because nobody buys them. I would rather not eat pussy than use a dental dam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So normally I just have like a 3-month waiting period where you don't fluid exchange with anyone else, and then get tested at the beginning and the end, and then we can fluid exchange. But then if you hook up with anyone else, even if it's a casual thing, then we go right back to the beginning of the 3 months, or you wait 3 months for them to like create a safe sex circle. And I think I've talked about that before, like with dating other people.
That's awesome. I mean, it's great to have an actual system because people, again, like you said, like the goal is to have safe sex, but the reality is that you just want to connect with people. And like finding that bridge in between to an actual strategy is really hard for a lot of people, especially again, if you're part of a community that doesn't have accessible, safe sex tools that are palatable. Because yeah, a dental dam is not necessarily like, maybe it's just also marketing because the condom feels a lot less robotic than the dental dam does.
Yeah, I mean, how many people do you know that use condoms when they're sucking dick?
Yeah. Best sex you've ever had?
Best sex I've ever had. Oh my God. God, I have no idea. But like the first girl I ever had sex with, they were doing a little bit of kinky stuff. And also I was in college and I lived in my bedroom, I had like 2 air mattresses stacked on top of each other. And so we were having very loud, rowdy sex. And I had a pet snake at the time and I lost her.
What?
Yeah, so like during the sex, my beds were like everywhere, my air mattresses were everywhere, my clothes were everywhere, and then I lost my snake for like a month.
It leaves a lot to the imagination. It definitely makes my mind go places. Worst sex you've ever had before?
Oh my God, worst sex I've ever had. I don't even know how to describe why it was so bad. It was just like, why are you rubbing my thigh out of rhythm? Like you're not even anywhere near my vulva and you think you are. And also, where is the rhythm at all?
What does that feel like? What is an out of?
I don't even remember.
Was
it was
like,
so bad. Yeah, exactly. It was just like, that is how, literally. I was like, what is even happening?
So your sex life now, you feel like is a holy fucking shit, yes, part of your life.
Yeah. And also, but also your fucking book helped me a lot. Not specifically with how to find someone I'm sexually compatible with, but on how to like find people I'm compatible with romantically, with your fucking list that took me so long to only pick 5 things. But yeah, because I didn't even pick sexual compatibility as my top 5. But like, obviously it's a big fucking deal.
You know what's fascinating about that is that I feel like as sexual educators, we can almost create compatibility because we know what the parts are. We know what the things are. So a lot of the times when I'm with somebody who doesn't know, I'm like, okay, like I can see how I can teach you. But the truth of the matter is, like you said, there are some things that you just simply can't teach. There's just an inherent chemistry that either is or is not there.
Yeah. I think that anything can be learned, right? But I think that people's general desires and like things that they strive for, like their natural selves, can just be compatible or not compatible with your natural self, right? So I don't know.
At this point in time, if somebody came to you and said, Stevie, how do I have the best sex of my life? What advice would you give them?
Oh God, I have literally no idea how to answer that.
Well, how would you answer it for yourself? Like how would you tell yourself, okay, here's how we have the best sex of our life?
I don't do it with yourself, right? Like, I don't know. I think that the best way for it to carry over into your sex life with other people is to like fuck the shit out of yourself, how you want to be fucked, you know? I don't know. I wish I would have started masturbating when I was like 9.
You're doing pretty good though. For somebody who started late, you figured it out pretty early. I think I started at around like 6. And I didn't really figure it out until I was like maybe 23.
Wow.
Yeah. I kind of figured it out in pieces, but then you would figure out a truth and then something like someone would tell you something that would deny your truth, so you would suppress that. Then you would go on a different path and then rediscover that was actually true what you knew at 6 years old. And so I feel like mine was like a lot of flip-flopping, but it feels like in a way yours was almost like...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely that, for sure.
And we're still going.
Keep learning new shit.
We're gonna turn that into a high five.
Yeah.